Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Laura Wilkie with Down Home with Lemon Pie, and let's get started with planning our homeschool year. Okay guys, welcome back. If you're brand new to my channel, welcome. I'm a Christian stay-at-home homeschool mama. I have 6 kids and 1 on the way. They are ranging in age from my very oldest is 10, and then my second is 8 years old. And then I have 2, those are my girls. My 2 boys are 7 and 5, and I have 3-year-old twins. So we are working on creation to the Greeks. I am planning it for this upcoming school year, which we are about to start in just a couple weeks. By the time you see this video, I think we will only be 1 week away from starting this new school year. We are starting a little bit early because a couple reasons. One is we have a new baby coming in the middle of the school year, so I'm allowing time for that. And also, we last year started doing where we take a short summer break and a short winter break instead of a tiny little winter break and a long summer break. I feel like it gives the kids, when they have 2 kind of medium-sized breaks, it makes their school year a lot easier and easier on me because there's not such a big gap in between when they have school and when they don't. So it also gives us a wonderful break in winter when there's kind of a natural lull just in winter. The way the season is, it's just something that we don't want to be, we just want to be snuggled up inside when it's cold out. And we live in Texas. It is crazy hot. So we kind of, once it gets to July, shortly after July 4th, it's just crazy hot, and the kids don't want to really be outside that much anyway, so they're coming inside looking for something to do, so why not start our school year? So that is what we do. We started doing it this way last year, and it worked out really well. So we are actually just coming off of curriculum week. If you missed that, go back and check it out, and you can see what we've already are planning to use in our homeschool. This coming school year, I'm going to have 2 preschoolers, a kindergartner, a 2nd grader, a 3rd grader, and a 5th grader. So I have all the things lined out in little videos if you want to know like what we're doing for math or how we're doing this or that. This video is going to be all about organizing those curriculums and kind of streamlining it so that we can get it all done. So the first thing I do when it is time to organize and plan our school year, after I've already purchased curriculums and decided what we're going to be using, is I make a list of how I want our day to be structured. This is literally my rough draft, so I am sharing this, guys, with you, and you'll have to forgive all the scribbles and things that you see. But I have one little spiral, isn't it cute, that I keep all year long, where I just keep track of all the things. So this is kind of how our day is going to be looking in the upcoming year. I'll go into this a little bit more in depth in another video, like I said, but just to give you kind of an idea, they're gonna do breakfast and chores, and then we'll do morning time. I kind of roughly list out the books that I want to include in morning time. And the ones that I include are ones that are family style, like we can do as a group. And then I make a list of all the things for what we call table time, which is when they sit down and do like their grade level specific things, such as math or grammar or handwriting, those kinds of things. So I make a list of who has what. Okay, so this is my planner right here. I go through, I pick kind of the day that I want us to start our lessons. So for our family, we are starting lessons on July 19th, okay? We are doing a slow start. So for this, that whole week, the kids, I have it listed, they're just gonna be doing handwriting, math, reading, and grammar. And we are going to be doing a shortened little tiny morning time just to kind of ease us back into the routine. We will do that for 1 whole week. And then one thing I love about My Father's World is it naturally has a slow start on top of that. So it doesn't start all of our lessons on day 1. So some things like the read alouds, I think you start in week 2 or 3, and so on. So some of the things you don't actually start. So it kind of eases us into all of our lessons and back into our routine. So I have that as our first week. So then I go, and in our home, we do a Sabbath schedule. So we do 6 weeks of school, and then we take a week off. When we take our week off, that is when I plan the next 6 weeks, okay? So I am only planning 6 weeks at a time because I have learned over the years that if I plan the whole school year, then something happens and we don't get to this or we don't get to that or this gets thrown off, and then it seems like our whole school year cannot come back from that. It seems like we're constantly trying to catch up. So I make a goal. So I've listed out here, I know how many weeks we're going to be doing school, and in Texas we don't have a specified amount of time. So in your state you may have a certain number of weeks that you have to do and you already know. But so I pick out how many we're going to do, and then we make our whole schedule, and I kind of take all of their workbooks and I find out how many lessons their workbook has, and then I divide that by how many weeks we're going to be in school, and that's how many lessons in each book they need to do for each week. Okay, so for an example, because I know that might be confusing, my 3rd grader's math book has 118 lessons, and if I divide that by the 36 weeks that we're going to be doing school, that comes out to about 3 lessons a week. My 2nd grader has 160 lessons in his math book, so he needs to do a little more, so he'll be doing 4 lessons a week, okay? And I do that for all of their things so that maybe we can hopefully not get way behind. And that just helps me to plan our schedule, like what their things are gonna look like. Okay, so the next thing I do is I take what I want to and make a list of all the things I want to accomplish in the term. Okay, so in term 1, I only plan the first term because that's the only one I'm worried about right now, is getting through that first step. When you overplan, like I said, you will frustrate yourself when something comes up and you cannot stay on track. So I make a list. It looks like this. I'll show you guys up close. I have term 1. This says 7/12 because I was going to start on the 12th, but it's actually, we're going to go a week later. So I have when we're going to start, I have what we're going to do together as a family. Then I have my girls, what they're going to do, Marley and Layla, and then my boys, Owen and Philip. Okay, so I have at the beginning there what we're going to be doing as a group and what page numbers I want us to do in each of those books. So I have this side here is like what's in my morning basket. I'll show you guys that in just a few minutes. And then how many lessons or pages or whatever we're going to be working on from each of those books. And then I have the girls down below, the things that they're going to do. Some of it's together, so it's only listed once. Some of it's separate. And for the boys, okay. So that kind of gives you an idea what our memory verse is, just all the things. So it has how we're going to be kind of planning what our first term is going to look like. If something happens and let's say we all get a stomach bug and we can't stick to this schedule, we have to take off a week or a week and a half because we have a big family and it takes forever to go through the household, something like that. Then it's much easier for me to go through this when I get ready to start planning term 2 and say, oh, it says for math, Owen was supposed to do lessons 1 through 27, but he only did lessons 1 through 20. So then we will pick that up from there and continue on. And if that means, sometimes that might mean doubling up. It might mean a couple like nighttime lessons. It might mean that we need to do a short little weekend lesson. But when you homeschool, you have that flexibility. So I'm okay with that. It may mean that I need to add an extra week to the end of our school year, and that's okay too. However we need to do it. But I love to have the flexibility. So that's why I don't plan too much at one time. Okay, so you've got your kind of the way you want your day to be structured. You've got what you want to have completed for that section of weeks that you're working on. You've got how many lessons each child needs to get done and how many days, right? So once we've done all of those things, for my kindergartner, I did make a list of which books are going to go with which themes so that I can easily jump to that theme and find the book that I'm wanting to focus on. So I did do that to kind of plan ahead just to make sure that we don't get left behind or something doesn't get forgotten. And then I write them in my little planner. I don't have a fancy planner. I tried a fancy planner in the past and it just didn't work for me. It just seemed like I spent so much money on the planner and not really enough time in the planner. So this one I just snagged off of Amazon. I really don't pay much for them because I can't see myself doing that. I do get the one that follows the school year. So it actually starts in July and then it goes all the way to next June. Okay, I do get that kind so that I can easily follow our school year. It doesn't stop in the middle of the school year like in December and I have to find a new planner. Anyway, so that's kind of how that works. Once I know what our schedule is going to look like, I do go ahead and create little charts for our kiddos. I started doing this, I think, 2 years ago, and it has worked out so well. I take a document. I've created this in Excel, and I just list all the things that I want the kids to get done each week. So up here it has their grade level. Then it has my daughter's name, and it has Monday, what she needs to get done on Monday. And I laminate these suckers. If you do not have a laminator, I need to tell you to buy one, first of all. But if for some reason you can't get a laminator, this is the first year I have laminated these. Last year, I just stuck them in a picture frame, and the kids just drew it on dry erase on the picture frame, and then they would erase it from the glass. That worked perfectly too. You can also get one of those slide-in sleeve protectors and do it that way. Whatever works. But now that I have a laminator, I'm going to say that's the best way to go because I love it. So these go up on the wall, and some things I've created, like based on how many lessons they need to do that week, is how many times I put it on the schedule. Okay, I know that makes sense, right? Tuesdays, we're going to be doing Wild and Free, so that is already blocked off. Their schedules are pretty similar along the week. My first two and then my two boys have a pretty similar schedule. This is the first year I've had to have 2 of these. So I've color-coded all 6 of my kiddos, and we will have 2 of these hanging up. The twins really don't need one. That's mostly just for me when things are not going right. I've got 4 kids who all need my help at the same time and twin toddlers crying on the floor, and I can't think straight about what activity can I give them to keep them busy. This gives me a plan. So for them, I have that they can choose a phonics activity. They can choose a math activity. Those are over here on my shelves. I have some busy bag ideas, puzzles, and then I have certain videos assigned to certain days of the week that I will allow them to watch during school time. It really doesn't matter what video they watch, which day of the week. I only put them on there so that I don't actually get to that point where I'm going, you can watch a show, but I can't think of one that's educational at the moment. So it's really just to help me to stay on track. So it's not set in stone. If whatever. If I want them to watch Leapfrog 4 days a week that week, then that's okay too. But honestly, that's kind of how that's gonna go. I have my little kindergartner. He has a tiny little list of things, and then my bigger kids have bigger lists. So anyway, that's kind of how that goes. And then I hang these on the wall, and they can cross off as they go throughout their day what they've completed. So I go ahead and get those created for them. Okay, then I laminate all the things. All the things. I did find some fun activities to go along with dinosaurs. I really just searched Pinterest for like kindergarten dinosaur activities or preschool dinosaur activities. And I stuck all of those things in a basket in our dining room, which I will show you. Okay guys, so this is our living room. This is our morning time basket. I just have this cute little basket. I got it at Ross actually, and it had that little chalkboard on it. This is my schedule. I keep it there. It's laminated. I change it up as needed, but it has listed the books. Some of them are a loop schedule, so they're not every day. And then on the right there, it tells you approximately how long it's going to take to do that book. And I don't want it to take more than an hour, so that's kind of how I schedule it, and I keep it in the basket so I don't get off track. Then I have all the books. This is the curriculum I created if you want to purchase that. I have videos for that. And I just put in here all the things, things that we're going to be working on. Like I said, they're not all every day, so I know it looks like a lot, but most of these are like one time a week or something like that, and it's really not that much. I keep it all there so it's ready to go. Over here is our book basket. I changed these up. These are books the kids can pull out and read like during quiet time. Anytime they want to pick up a book, really. These just have to do with our themes. So right now they are all dinosaur, space, and Bible themed. I show these in our curriculum video, so if you want to go back and see what some of these are in depth. I also have some little interactive books that I keep in there sometimes, like this one. My kindergartner loves this one. My toddlers do too, and they just like to play with it all the time. So it's just something to keep their attention during morning time or during quiet time, either way. And I just keep them all snug in our basket. So that is that. It just all lives right there, nice and tidy in our living room, right there beside the couch. Okay, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but you can get on Facebook and you can find a Facebook group for pretty much any curriculum you guys are doing, okay? And whatever you're doing in the Facebook group, usually you will find a files section. In that files section, you can find a ton of helpful resources that are free that people around the United States have created and stuck in those file sections for other people who may want to use them too. So I go through those file sections for both, I did it for Creation to the Greeks and also for kindergarten. For kindergarten, I came up with a whole list of shows that go along with the themes that we are going to be doing. So I print those out and I just kind of keep them in this little folder where I can keep track of what's what all throughout the year. In the Creation to the Greeks files on their Facebook page, I found the vocabulary schedule, which also tells me when the tests are so that we can do those. I also print out a copy of their schedules for me to have in my little folder. There were some other things I'll show you that I also printed. This is a list of the memory verses that the girls will have for Creation to the Greeks. Some extra art projects for my kindergartner. I printed those and I put all of this stuff just kind of in this folder, like I said. That way I have access to it when I need it. My teacher's edition for Creation to the Greeks is the older edition, but the book that I bought for Streams of Civilization is the newer version. So I went to files and I typed in streams. That's all I typed into the files in the Creation to the Greeks Facebook page. And up came a file where somebody had already fixed all the page numbers for me. So they took the page numbers where it tells me like week 2 in the teacher manual, you need to read this section from the book Streams of Civilization. They already have edited it for me and told me where to find it in the newer version. I'm so excited to have this. Is like gold, guys, so I don't actually have to do all the work. I just flip to this and it tells me where to go. We're going to be using, if you saw my kindergarten video, we're going to be using my ABC Bible verses. So I just typed that book title into Google with the word printables after it, and it came up with some charts that I could print out that somebody had created. So I printed out those charts. I'm going to use one as like a game where if they know the verse, they get to move their piece through the ABCs. And then I'm going to use the other one on the wall like a sticker chart. And then I have one in my possession for my little folder that is like my cheat sheet to kind of check them as we go, so I don't have to go through the book and flip through, is that the right verse? Did they miss a word? What was it? So I have a little cheat sheet to go with it. I cannot recommend the files section or Google, like when you're looking for Pinterest or whatever, just all the things so that you can find extras to go along with your curriculum. Do not neglect those. Those are so helpful, and you will be able to find so many good things by using those resources. Okay, so I took down our old timeline from when they were little and printed and laminated and hung up the new timeline. This is straight out of the Creation to the Greeks resources files on the Facebook page. So that's where you can find that if you are looking to do that as well. I love the way it looks. This is kind of our multi-use space. So there you go. It's like a little tour. This is the My Bible Verse, ABC Bible verses that I was just talking about. I printed that out and hung it up right there where we can see it. This is kind of our little basket of all the goodies I found for dinosaur printables, like on Pinterest, and I just typed in dinosaur preschool or dinosaur kindergarten. That's the one I laminated. This is like snacks to go along with our Bible stuff. More dinosaur activities, guys. I just laminate them, cut them out, and stick them in baggies for my little guys to work on. Coloring pages. I printed out a set of those for my 4 youngest, so they have something to work on during morning time while I'm reading. So those are all set up there. They're just in a basket, and this is my drawer, like my teacher drawer. That's the caterpillar badges for kindergarten. When they learn a theme, then they get to hang it up. These are all from those files group files that I was talking about. The Greek word stuff. The timeline is from the student sheets. So when you order the student sheets, you get that. I actually printed those on cardstock. These are just all of their student sheets, guys. I just keep them all here in this little tray here, this little bin. Those are their math facts behind those. Those are from last school year. We'll use them again this year. So I keep all of those just in a drawer, and I paper clip each section together. All right, another thing that I do is I take all of our books for the school year and I set them aside. Even all their workbooks. If there's, like, for example, a workbook that they have to complete the first version before they get to the second one, I set all of that aside, and that way it's all in one place, and I can locate it when the day comes that suddenly they've finished whatever and we need it. I also go ahead and start looking into YouTube playlists. There are a lot of YouTube playlists already created, and I start kind of using those to create our own playlist for the upcoming school year. I do create 2, and create one for just my preschoolers that is just kind of a range of learning videos that they can watch at like daily, like little songs. And then I create one that is for our main curriculum, which is Creation to the Greeks. So I just start kind of creating those playlists and finding things that are already created for me that I can just kind of organize and make into a single playlist for our home. I also start looking for movies, or kind of start putting it in my radar for movies or shows or field trips that we can take, and I will make a document where it just lists them so that when there's a time, particularly like if there's a sick day but we still want to get some learning in, or if we want to do a movie night but I want something that's more educational, in the winter when we have our long winter break but I want us to kind of sneak in a little bit of learning, then I might put on one of those movies or shows or something like that. That's also a good time to do those field trips, also our Sabbath weeks. So I know this has been a crazy long video because I'm trying to explain to you guys how I do all the planning, and it is a long process. So I hope that it has been helpful to you guys if you are also in the planning stages. I hope this has given you some tips or ideas that will make it a little easier, and hopefully you guys will have a great school year. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys next time.